Hi, my name is Sonya Crist, and I'd be honored to tell you my story. It's not an easy one, but I hope it brings you hope. You see, I used to feel terrible. I was so sick. I had tried everything, and I couldn't find anything to help me. I spent most of my days in couch or on the bed, just hoping and wishing that I could play with my kids when they came and asked me to. Instead, I'd sit there on the couch and I'd cry and I'd say, well, Mommy can maybe read you a book. And yet I'd fall asleep in the middle of reading them a book. It broke my heart because it's not the way I envisioned our life would be. I thought I would be busy taking them fun places and playing ball. But no, here I was, my husband working 60 hours a week just to try and keep up and pay my medical bills, and sometimes he would get home from work and still have to fix dinner because I had been too sick to do it. I cried out to God saying, I don't think this is your plan. I mean, I want to trust you, Lord, but I want to serve my family. That was my heart's desire, and it hurt so much to see what it was doing to my family. And then on top of that, our oldest son started to be sick. I started out with some food intolerances and some weird rashes and tummy aches and headaches. And then it progressed to mood swings, to more severe food problems. We had to go put him on a special diet. We had to give him many different supplements. He had to have that horrible allergy testing where they stick hundreds of needles in you. And yet, with all the testing, with all the things he tried, his mood swings turned into depression. His depression turned into suicidal thoughts. His suicidal thoughts turned into threats to kill himself. I was scared to death. And I begged God, please, if you'll save my son, you can take me, but just please do something for us. We were struggling to get by every month on top of all of our health issues. You know, finances were hard because of all the things we had to spend money on just to try to keep us alive. So when my husband's aunt told us about Plexus, I said, we can't afford it. But my husband said, I don't think we can afford not to try it. So we purchased our first month. I was super skeptical. I told her, I'm going to get my money back when it doesn't work. And she just smiled and said, that's okay, just try it. But I was excited. I was excited even though I was skeptical. And I remember telling my mom and my sister and my best friend before I even got my products. And they were like, okay, well, let us know how it goes. And we started on these products. In a week's time, I noticed that my headaches are starting to lift. I felt like I had a little more energy. And my son, he smiled. In 2 weeks' time, I noticed that I wasn't having as many stomach aches. And my son, well, he laughed. In 3 weeks' time, I was out doing yard work. I was having dinner on the table every night. I wasn't taking a nap every day. And my son, well, he came to me and he gave me a hug and he told me he loved me. He hadn't done that for months. This child believed that he was unlovable, that he was unworthy, and that he should die. And at that point, I knew we still had a long ways to go, but God had given us the miracle that we had prayed for. We learned more about gut health and blood sugar balance and inflammation and how these products really get to the root of what's wrong with your bodies and help them to heal themselves. They're just tools to help your body do what God intended it for to do to begin with. And we began to dream again. We began to have hope for our future. We began telling others our story. They wanted the same thing. Other mamas would reach out to me and say, my child is the same way. And I would cry with them, but I would say there's hope. And then we were able to help others. The paychecks started rolling in. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just sharing like I should. People need this. But the paychecks started coming in. I was able to quit my part-time job that I wasn't doing very well at anyway because I was so sick. And I was able to stay at home and spend my time reaching out to others with the hope of what this is. I was able to give my husband freedom to not work so many hours, for us to be able to go on vacation, for us to be able to give places where we wanted to give before and never could. This has changed everything for us. We have hope, we have a future, we have a vision, and we have a great love and passion for other people. Compassion, to let you know that there's a better way, that there's health and happiness to be had, there's prayers to be answered, and I hope you'll join us in this.